Judge Alex is back with a case of Eric Skraby, who's suing his former roommate Peter Sinkevich for $1,882 for the return of his security deposit. Eric says Peter promised to refund the money, but has come up with nothing but excuses. Peter says he was going to give Eric the money, but he left owing bills and started harassing him.
Do you guys have any negotiations at all, or is it always just duck and hide?
He somehow gets a hold of me. He's like, this is my new phone number. I'm like, that was convenient. So, I mean, I was like, all right, I'll talk to him. So I talked to him, and I'm like, all right, well, we got to get a contract signed or something. He says, that sounds good. I'm like, all right.
I think I was avoiding you. Do you think I would have given you my number?
I think you finally got to the point of exhaustion. This guy's not giving up. I mean, this is
I just would have continued ignoring him.
He's like a bloodhound. So
April 29th, I call him that night. My roommate's sitting there. He's on speakerphone. He wants to listen. I was like, all right, we got to get a contract. He goes, okay, that sounds good. I was like, all right, let's make this 2 payments starting next week. He goes, I don't know about next week. I got to pay for June's rent. So I was like, all right, we'll start it the week after that. He goes, okay. I'm like, 2 payments? I don't know about 2 payments. I'm going to have to pay July's rent, so maybe 4 payments. I'm like, all right, 4 payments starting this day.
And I could have told you I would have paid everything up front.
So starting this day.
You're the most accommodating debt collector.
Exactly. I just tried to get anything. I wanted some money.
You're like,
there was nothing I could do. He owns some business.
You have food stamps. Just give me food stamps.
He owns some business. I don't know what he does. He has a website that talks about going green, but anything you click on his website goes to another link. So I'm like, I don't even know how he makes any money. I don't know if he has money. So I'm like, okay, I'll do whatever he wants.
All right.
So I make this contract.
You have a contract?
Write it up. Yep, it's right here. I write it up. I walk over, or actually, when I'm on the phone, I'm like, all right, let's get this thing signed tomorrow. He goes, okay. I'm like, all right, I'll come at 9 or 10 a.m. He goes, I don't know about that. He's like, I might be asleep.
Okay.
I was like, all right, wait a minute.
What do you do for a living?
I own a website.
So it's not like something where you have to work really late.
No, I spend a lot of time working.
But if you run a website, you can actually do it any time, right? It's a website.
Well, but you got meetings, you got to meet people.
Who are you meeting at 1 in the morning?
Business partners.
At 1 in the morning?
No, not 1 in the morning. Not 1 in the morning, but I am up late working on stuff.
Who's your business partner, Dracula?
I'm up late doing a lot of...
Look, the bottom line is you don't have to be in bed at 9 or 10 in the morning. You could meet him at 9 or 10 if you really wanted to. You're just not really that interested in meeting him. So what happens? He tells you 9 or 10, I might still be asleep.
Would you want to meet him?
It kind of gets worse.
I kind of like the guy, actually.
I was like, all right, I'll be there at 10 a.m. You're going to be there. He's like, I might be asleep. I'm like, no, Peter, we're getting this thing signed. I'll be there at 10 a.m. He's like, oh, wait, it's the weather. I'm like, my roommate now is just cracking up. He's like, it's going to be nice tomorrow. I might be at the beach. And I asked him, I'm like, wait a minute, you're going to be asleep and now you're going to be at the beach. And he goes, well, I work for myself. I have my own company. I might as well just work somewhere else outside. I'm like, no, Peter, you are going to be at your house. Do whatever you want afterwards. At 10 a.m., I'm going to be there to sign this contract. I show up. He comes outside. He reads the contract. He signs it. I'm like, the game is over. The hobby's done.
What he's not telling you is he sleeps outside the house in his car.
That was the most exhausting work to get this little half-a-page contract I've ever heard.
It's not even over. I got to get the money now.
Apparently so.
He's not even telling you.
I'm gathering you're actually enjoying this now.
Next on Judge Alex. Has Peter finally found a good reason not to pay? Or is it just another excuse?
Let me see the contract here. Enter into the following agreement. Acknowledge he owes Eric Skraby $624 for an unreturned security deposit.
And what's the date on that?
Judge Alex is back with a case of Eric Skraby, who's suing Peter Sinkevich for the return of his security deposit. Peter says he was going to give Eric the money until he skipped out on the bills and made a nuisance of himself.
All right, Mr. Sinkevich, what were you saying, that he's sleeping in his car? What were you saying?
The part of the story he's not relaying is the manner in which he went about it. Completely unreasonable, irate, just hard to deal with.
I made the contract
Which is why I had the attitude I had, which is like, all right, I'm over this. You're acting like a kid.
I want to scream louder than him so I can get your attention. How is it that you are over this when you are holding his money and you're not paying it month after month after month, week after week after week? Because don't bug me now because it's the holidays. Wait, don't bug me now because it's before 11 in the morning. No, today's a sunny day and I'm going to go to the beach. Don't bug me now.
One more thing.
Seriously, if you want to get rid of them, if you don't want to be harassed, pay people who you owe.
But there's a way to act. There's a way to be an adult about it, right?
That's what you're doing? You're the adult here.
I'm talking about from the beginning.
You're doing like serpentine, so this guy can't find you, and you're telling me you're the adult.
I was not being serpentine about it.
Let me see the contract here. 30th day of April, 2010. Enter into the following agreement. Acknowledge he owes Eric Skraby $624 for an unreturned security deposit.
And what's the date on that?
Let me just get through this.
Okay.
For the property at this address, whatever. Agrees to pay in 4 weekly installments of $156 for 4 weeks beginning on May 12th, 2010, ending on June 2nd, 2010. Payments are to be mailed to his house. How many of them did you get?
Well, the first payment came up, and nothing came, so I called him up. I texted him. I'm like, Peter, did you make the first payment? Maybe it's still in the mail. You never know. And he goes, oh, no, I didn't have any checks.
No checks.
I do everything by bill pay.
I was like, that's not my problem.
He wanted the full $733, and I was not going to give that to him.
Okay. Tell you what you are going to give him. Okay? This is what you are going to give him. I can't give you treble damages for this. He's not a landlord or anything like that, but $624 is what you owe him. $624 is what the contract is for. I don't believe for a second it took him that long to want that money. I think he was negotiating with you from the beginning because he wanted to be done with this, and you're just trying to stiff this 21-year-old, ignorant, immature, unsophisticated, dumb kid who has boxed you in so well here that you're going to pay him $624 for your... You're going to pay him $624 for the security deposit, and you're going to give him another $600 for punitive damage, so $1,224.
Judge Alex has ruled in favor of the plaintiff and ordered the defendant to pay him $1,224.
I think the judge's ruling was very fair. I'm glad I got the extra $600 because he just ducks and dodges everything, and it's finally over. The game is done.
I think the judge's ruling was fair in terms of the $624, but I do not think the $600 was warranted.